Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we are talking about the financial markets today, the do's and the don'ts of them, stocks, options, futures, Forex, and that's some of the things we're going to get into on this segment. But if we did talk about an investing class that Al teaches here right at the Academy, and we have these classes that are about 2 hours to learn how the financial markets work, but also how to do that safely with what's going on in the markets. There's great opportunities as the market's going up, but also great opportunities, really good opportunities as the market is going down. So if you missed that, get your phone ready. You can text the word investing to the number 210-210. Make sure if you're driving, maybe pull over real quick. I'm going to give you a second.
Great
Text the
idea.
word investing to the number 210-210 for two free tickets for an investing class at our academies from Minneapolis to Denver. But also you're going to receive a quick start kit. And this kit has a couple things. It has some content to help you get started right away, but also some free stock picks, Al. Everybody loves some free stock picks.
They do.
So in that last segment, we were talking about how to learn a strategy that's designed, really just it's designed to follow the institutions and having a timing strategy as far as when to get in, but also when to get out of the markets, whether it's stocks or futures or options, whatever that your trading is. So, Al, a lot of people are looking for an income stream or an income strategy, let's call it, outside of their job. So, a
Mhm.
lot of our listeners work during the day or even in the evening, but they don't want to have that second job or go to another place to have more income. I mean, things are not getting any cheaper these days. So, people need something to do or use a source to combat this inflation that's going on. So, talk about some of the income strategies. And you mentioned the timing of it, how
Mhm.
to use the timing strategy with these income style assets to have that opportunity to have that second source to cover a lot of the things that people want to cover.
Sure. Well, start out by asking yourself why you have a job. Why do you go to work? Why do you have a job? Well, the truth is that being alive is not free. There are these things that show up in your mailbox occasionally, not occasionally, frequently, with little windows in them, and those are bills
I
that
think
need to be paid.
Destiny's Child said it best. Bills, 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 can't pay my telephone bill, can't pay it. Is
Is
that too much?
that exactly how they said it?
Oh, I'm sorry about
Okay,
that. Maybe they
I'm
sound a little
going
bit
to I'm going
better.
to apologize to everybody. Don't Please do not change the channel.
Hey,
Uh,
I'm gonna get this singing voice a little bit better one
okay.
of these days.
We'll keep working on it. Not that you've got a long ways to go, but keep working on
Oh,
it.
thank you.
So, anyways, why do you have a job? You have a job because there are bills. There's the cost of living is there. It's a constant, and a lot of people when they get the paycheck and they pay their bills, they have a little bit of fun. Whatever you're doing with your money, there isn't enough left over to put into a portfolio for your wealth, for your retirement. At some point in time, everyone's going to be retired and have to rely on something other than income from your job. For a lot of people now, especially with inflation the way it is, and we have gone through a long period of time where wage growth has really underperformed, and maybe you need some additional income. Maybe you've got some bills that you're not able to pay, or you just don't have enough to really fund that wealth retirement bucket down the road, and you need some additional income. A lot of people, unfortunately, look at a second job or working overtime. Is that really what you want to do? Is that how you increase the quality of your life? Probably not. So, what are the choices that you have? Well, that second, third job is a choice, but there are choices within the financial markets, and that's why people come to the Online Trading Academy. We show you how to use the assets that are really ideal for income. And if you need income or if that's your goal, it needs to be something that you can access on a short-term basis, not the typical Wall Street buy and hold strategy where you are supposed to hold on to something for decades. You can't pay a bill today with something you're going to access in 10 or 20 years. So a lot of people look at the financial markets. So one of the reasons that people come into these 2-hour classes that Josh is talking about is to find out whether the markets are the right thing for you. Is this the right avenue for you to follow if you're looking for additional income? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but at least you'll get a good idea of whether this is something that you should pursue. Right now, we've got a debt situation in this country. The U.S. debt per family is $806,160. That's per family compared to a savings of only about $10,000. Global debt is exceeding $300 trillion, and 10% of that was created just in the last 2 years. So the key here is to understand what strategies are available. For most of you, you haven't been exposed to them because Wall Street doesn't want you to know about them. They don't want you to know how to use them. Don't fear something you don't know because most of us grew up not knowing basically anything. We just learned as we went. You learn how to ride a bike, you learn how to walk, you learn how to write, you learn how to speak. All of those things are things that you do on it's a process that you go through. Same thing in trading and investing, but the knowledge is there. We provide that knowledge. We have access to all of the different assets, whether you want to trade stock or whether it's that more short-term income-producing vehicle like the futures market or the foreign exchange market or the options market. The great thing is that the strategy that we teach our students, which is based on price, as I mentioned earlier, the most important thing is price. Knowing what price to pay to get into something, knowing what price to receive to get out of it with a proper profit. Those are the things that we concentrate on regardless of what you are trading. And if you're looking at making decisions based on your opinions or maybe something that worked in the past that might not be working now, you're probably not going to do well. But there are facts that are always going to drive financial activity. So finding and following those facts, that's the most important thing. And what it is, it's really a combination of institutional activity and then the follow-up emotional trading of the public, which is helping provide a profit for you. So what we're looking for is where are the institutions going to buy something because they know more than we do. They have more money than we do. So if we can follow them, just do what they're doing because they're successful, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, so that's a lot of good comments there. I mean, so people are probably wondering, okay, where are the institutions buying and selling, and where do you find that? So, what we teach at Online Trading Academy is a strategy that's designed to follow them, but using price, as Al keeps talking about. Where you get that is from a platform, and we actually have our own platform. It's called Click,
Hmm.
and it's actually going to help guide you through your investment decisions. But you get your information from a platform, not something online where it tells you the fundamentals, as Al was talking about, which just creates opinion. Price does not lie. So it's a strategy that's designed to identify where they may be buying and where they may be selling, but also putting the odds in your favor, odds and probabilities, and then proper capital management. And we talk a lot about that in these investing classes that we teach right here at our academies. And these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, our various strategies, which are designed to teach you to make better investing decisions. So get your phones ready. I'm going to give a text number here to call to text in for some free tickets for an investing class. It's a local class. If you're listening to the show, text the word investing to the number 210 210. That's text investing to the number 210 210. And that's for 2 free tickets. Most people bring their spouse or significant other. We're actually seeing a lot of people come to these investing classes that they bring their kids with. Usually high school or older age because they don't really teach this in school. They don't teach this in college or anything. So it's a great thing to get your family involved, especially if you want to help their financial trajectory and get them on that right path. So, Al, you were talking about these other assets, futures and Forex, even options. Now, in your opinion, what would be, let's just say we have some listeners that, maybe have between 5 and 10,000 bucks to trade, to
Hmm.
use, but they don't want to use it all because that's real risky, right?
Hmm.
Explain how that works with these other assets, how to take that smaller amount of capital, control much more, but you're not actually using the whole dollar amount that you have.
Yeah, what if you could look at an investment, say 50,000, $100,000 investment, and you could just be responsible for a down payment on it, just a partial payment of it. That's what leverage provides for you, and that's what options, futures, and forex have. It's leverage. That's one of the biggest advantages in using those assets. And that can be anywhere from maybe a 10-to-1 leverage to 100-to-1 leverage. It's maximizing the value of every dollar you have. It's just increasing the potential returns you can have with a smaller account. Uh, all of the brokerage firms have access to, I shouldn't say all of them, but most of them have access to all of these assets. And the problem is that they have access to them and people use them and don't understand how to use them. So you want to make sure that you have the right knowledge. That's what we do. We provide that knowledge for you. And I mentioned earlier that it's institutional activity that we're looking for. A lot of people think, well, all I have to do is wait until I hear what Goldman Sachs bought or what J.P. Morgan bought or what Warren Buffett bought. When you hear that, when you find out what they have bought or what they've sold, it's too late. It's already taken place. They can actually hide their activity. They don't have to report things. It can be up to 90 days before you'll know what somebody has actually done as far as putting a position together or exiting a position. So what our strategy does is that it identifies their activity on a price chart before the knowledge is out there, before the news shows or tells you what they have done. The institutions don't want you to know what they're doing until they have completely finished either putting a buy position together or have exited a sell position.
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of traders and investors are following these. I think you call them pundits, these people
Correct.
that are saying, oh, I went and bought this and I bought that. But when did they actually do it? So, what really happens there is the public is late to the party. And so, if they already bought, prices already gone up because they're
Exactly.
buying millions and millions of shares at a time or whatever they're buying, probably billions of dollars at a time, which will affect that price. And that's why it's so imperative excuse me, to have that strategy that's
Uh,
designed to do that before. Boy, I'm having a tough time here today. So, can I describe a little bit more about why you want to get in before that has already happened or they've already
yeah.
said something?
Yeah, you might have heard the phrase, the trend is your friend, and that is true. The trend is your friend, but you have to be able to identify when a trend starts, and as importantly, if not most important, is where it ends. And in trading and investing, if you're waiting for news to come out or waiting for a statement by a brokerage firm saying or Warren Buffett, for example, bought 64 million shares of IBM.
Yeah.
It took him 9 months to put the full trade together in increments, but he told people that he had that 64 million share position after he already had it. So you've missed out on the movement that was caused by his activity there. A lot of people, when you hear the news or you understand or you find out what a brokerage firm has done or a big trader has done, a hedge fund manager, for example, you may be entering the position while they're starting to exit the position already. So how do you identify the beginning part of a trend? You identify a turning point in price. Those turning points are almost always caused by institutions. What happens after that turning point, after the public sees the movement upwards in a price of something, for example, they start buying. Wouldn't it be better for you to already be in that position? You had mentioned, I think, in the first segment, Josh, how you put a trade together and then just let the software do the work for you.
Hmm.
With our strategy, it's identifying what looks like a very, with high accuracy, where an institution or big players are going to make a trade in the future. So we're looking for unfilled orders that are going to become filled orders. And you might be going, you can't do that. That's not possible. What do you guys have, a crystal ball or something? No, come in and let us show you how that works. Let us prove to you that our strategy can actually identify that activity before it happens. If you can do that, you can put a trade or a position together before that happens, then let the public come in and provide a profit for you. You want to get in at the beginning of a trend and you want to get out at the end of a trend, but you have to be able, as close as possible, to identify the turning points, the beginning part and the ending part of a trend.
Yeah, that's what the great thing about Online Trading Academy is they have physical places to go to learn this stuff. You can't really, it's very difficult to learn things online. There's a lot of garbage out there. By the way, be very careful if you're listening to what you're watching on YouTube. There is a lot of garbage out there. That's why we have these physical classes, a place to go. We have academies all across the country, locally here in Minneapolis and Denver, and we have these investing classes that Al was talking about, and they're 2-hour classes. And we teach these and we talk about how this stuff works. We're actually able to show you, because us as adults, that's how we learn is visual.
Mm-hmm.
So text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 tickets for an investing class. They're about 2 hours. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. So coming up next, Al, I want to talk with our listeners about retirement plans, how to protect what they have. Things are not looking good in the markets. A lot of volatility. Let's talk about protecting portfolios coming up next. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.